And that's the weird part is like looking here to, I'm having this and like this whole story, this whole Concord event is crashing into me at the same time as checks notes.
Remember the name. Try and pull it.
Deadlock.
Towards you.
Deadlock. Deadlock is happening at the same time.
Well, not only is it happening at the same time, because there were the articles of, wow, Concord's bombing super hard. By the way, you're allowed to stream Deadlock right now, and me and like 40,000 people on Twitch were like, hey, by the way, we were in Deadlock the whole time. Do you want to look at Deadlock instead? And then you hit the Deadlock character roster, and like every single one of those is a banger.
So I have to go. I have to go over and take a look at everything going on in Deadlock because I was kind of just looking at the footage in general. But Deadlock's UI though has way too much happening on it.
Oh yeah. So
that shit is my kryptonite.
We are in a new world, and that world is we are actually showing you the alpha.
Okay.
Deadlock is a closed alpha to the point where I think that game is over 18 months away.
I just
like I'm not even joking. Like I think that is like 2 years away.
Okay, so it is a MOBA, but the camera's in a different place then.
Okay, so
because I just looking at that HUD, I feel like
I played a lot of Deadlock over this week, so I'm very happy to talk about it. But before we get to Deadlock, I have to say, in games business, me and you have always made fun of like trends chasing because they can never get there fast enough. Everything after like 1995, you could never catch them, right? So like, hey, fighting games are hot. Okay, let's bang out a fighting game. It will hit the market 9 months from now. Right? Hey, real-time strategy games are hot. Let's make a bunch of knockoff StarCrafts. How long it'll take? A year. And then we saw the MMO thing happen, right? How long does that take? 5 years? Oh, fuck. And by the time you release your MMO, WoW has had 5 extra years to get super good.
And it's that much more expensive because it's live service and has to stay constantly updated and maintained.
Right. And so now I think about what you said when they like Concord got greenlit when Overwatch came out.
Yeah.
And like it is so far beyond, like behind that trend, that all of the shooters in that trend are now free to play.
Right.
And the fact that they're releasing it $40 is now like, what? You want money for this? But Overwatch 2,
all these are free.
And Rivals and Paladins, they're all free.
And like, and when I looked at the gameplay of it, I'm like, oh, there's a cool like ability. Someone shot a fan that lands on a surface and blows people away. And I'm like, yeah, there's a wall. You know, hero shooting is happening. That all seems gameplay seems pretty normal and competent. You know, I see nothing about that at a glance.
Really normal.
Yeah, I saw nothing about that struck me as like, oh, this is subpar or whatever. It seems quite fine for a hero shooter. But just the people that are doing the actions and everything about what you're looking at was just like, this is not going to grab me, even if it was free, much less to pay up for it.
Hey, Wooly, there's a new restaurant in town, and I heard that the food there is not really subpar. Do you want to go there?
Okay.
Yeah, it costs like 3 times as much as the restaurant we usually go to.
And it's and everything is served in a toilet.
Yeah. Do you want to go down there? Oh man, dude, you know what my favorite part about talking about Concord is? Okay, I will put out a tweet about Concord and I will receive the following 3 reactions, and they're all happening in chat right now. One is, what the fuck is Concord? Okay. Number 2 is, wait, Concord came out?
Okay.
And number 3, which I just saw, which is, wait, it's not free? They're charging money for Concord?
Do, do, do.
It's like, you can't beat that sequence of questions, man.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, no. Yeah, and it's not, and like having just touched Rivals and walking away from that going, the only negative I have is what will happen with Micro if they decide to do it, but everything else.
Now they've said, hey, listen, we're gonna make $1 billion off of Captain America costumes.
Everything was stellar. I just yeah. Man. And then
so like,
and and it's not like one of those things where I mean, you can't be your financial plan for how you're going to make money by selling a game at price and comparing it to what you would do if it was free to play. I'm sure they had meetings and discussed what that would look like and stuff. You can't ever switch and swerve over to that, especially once people have paid money, like that's insane. So it's just, there's no salvage there. That's pretty much a dead on arrival.
They spent a lot of time, they spent a lot of money. Also, remember, Secret Level has a Concord episode.
Oh shit!
So Sony really put the cash out on this.
Secret Level's gonna release an episode of that. Oh man, and it's not even gonna last until the show is out.
It's not even gonna. You're gonna watch that. People are gonna watch that Secret Level episode, go buy the game, and then they're gonna be like, not be able to play it.
Oh fuck! That's brutal. That's really bad, man. It didn't last long enough to get the promo that was on the way.
So like, one of the big bombs for Concord is that, like, they're doing weekly cutscenes and weekly story stuff, and it's all mocap super. Okay, they're doing weekly story events which like have full mocap cutscenes with like super high-end motion capture and performance capture and shit like that. That was shown in the original trailer, and no one gives a shit because it's a multiplayer shooter. And that cost like $1 billion or some shit. So this is where I cut to tweet by friend of the show, Gene Park. Love you, Gene. Who said both Xbox and PlayStation released games this year that have trouble finding an audience. Both used expensive motion capture as a distinct factor. Meanwhile, Helldivers 2 doesn't have faces. And Wukong didn't even bother lip syncing their English voiceover.
Helldivers has 3 faces in it.
It has, oh yeah, the people on your ship.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Man.
Yeah. No.
Man.
We're watching Trend Chasers come out like multiple console generations later, and it's really funny.
But it's been a minute since there's been the pre-spend, like investing in the expensive short, because getting Kratos in there, it's like duh. And anything else that you get, but like that level of Advent Rising, like we're putting it all in, we're betting on black, we're going in heavy from the jump.
Hey Wooly, listen, I have an idea. I'm gonna start a new band. I think this trend's really hot right now. I'm gonna combine rock guitar with rap lyrics. I'm gonna call it rap rock, and I think it might be the next big thing.
Okay, time to start selling out Madison Square Garden tickets right now.
All right, so I'm gonna put my deposit down for MSG.
Did you put you put your house up? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Put my house up for the deposit for MSG, and
awesome.
we're gonna see how
man. Okay. Well, yeah, that is just brutal, and I don't know. You would think for all the money that's spent that there would be like a massive team of artists that would, see these characters and stop this from happening.
I have a possible answer to what's going on with the character designs, because I put that tweet up and a lot of people are talking about it, and somebody came up with a really good explanation, which is the characters all look like the 60s 70s sci-fi characters that would look probably pretty good in a very stylized comic book aesthetic.
Yes.
But part of the game's main push is its super high-end performance capture cutscenes. So at some point, what might have happened is that it was stylized and it was very colorful, and the on high, either the director or the board or Sony said, nah, it's got to look realistic.
Okay, because
and then it just didn't survive the translation at all.
Because Purple Afro Lady, robot, and then like pink haired like fish girl, like that's all very like if Gendy was giving a take on these, I could see a lot of that being exaggerated and working out, you know? These features could be exaggerated to work out. Like, yeah, I could not when you put it that way. But realistically, they all just look like bad box art Mega Man interpretations of what might have been cool characters.
Absolutely, like 100%. It's crazy. It's genuinely nuts. So, Valve, Gabe Newell, they're sitting around and they're telling people every day, hey, can you not put up fan cams of your Deadlock kill counts, please? Can you not put up like Call of Duty style montage videos of your Deadlock plays? And then they see Concord come out and they're like, well, that's enough of that shit. And so Concord Deadlock.
Oh, it was in response. Was it?
No, I'm saying it's in response. I'm saying they saw Concord and they decided to put their thumb on the ant. Deadlock is out. No, it's not actually. Deadlock is not out. Deadlock is not even not out. It's inside. It's closed alpha.
But embargo is pulled? Is that what happened?
But embargo is pulled. So if you were in it, you can watch it or stream it.
Okay.
But also, do you know how the Deadlock invite process works?
No. I did get one, and I said I'll just check it out later. I'm only interested in checking it out when I can stream it, I think.
Yeah. Well, you can stream it now. Here's how the Deadlock process works. Deadlock is a secret. So you go and be like, does anyone have secret game? And then Guy DMs you and gives you an invite to secret game. And then you get into secret game and there's a button on the main menu that says invite your friends. And you can invite literally any single person on your friends list infinite amount of times. And they all get in right away.
Okay.
And all of those people can invite as many people as they want right away.
And that's
so I got in and then invited every single person on my Steam friends list.
And so that's how you get the worst kept secret in games today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have an invite. I sent Reggie an invite.
Okay.
Paige has an invite sitting in her thing, et cetera, et cetera.
Cool. Well, yeah. So, I mean, scrolling through these characters, I'm like, oh, there's some fun looking folks here and some gimmicks and stuff on display that seem pretty rad. But this... Yeah, so I guess I thought this was also a third-person team shooter.
It is... Question mark?
But then what is happening?
All right. So, this is Pat's generalized synopsis of the Valve game Deadlock as by a guy who played it maybe 20 matches. But more importantly... is friends with Dota fiends who have been playing it nonstop. So Deadlock looks like a hero shooter. It is not. It is barely even a shooter. It is Dota 2 with the camera put behind your character.
Okay, everyone's been saying Smite. Saying that it's very Smite-like.
Yeah. It is Dota 2. So you choose your shooty man character, and then you will jump into your match, and it will tell you, oh man, this is the best part. It will say, hey, listen. Okay, I'm gonna back up. Sorry, there's so much to talk about this. I'm getting all kerfuddled. Okay, do you remember me telling you about League of Legends and how League has this really fun system where you go, hey, I would like to play top or mid or jungle or carry or ADC. So what do? You select your role, your preferred role, and you go, I would like to play top, and I don't, that's my preferred lane. So then they go, pick a second one, and I go, oh, I would like to play jungle if I can't play top. And the matchmaking goes, you're playing mid. And I'm like, I don't know how to fucking play mid. I don't know how to play even a single mid character. And I start the game, and now I'm laning in mid, and I suck at it. and I'm feeding, and now everyone on my team is mad at me, but I didn't even want to play mid. I wanted to play top, but now everyone is mad at me. They're yelling at me, and oh, I hate this. And you start up Deadlock and you go, hey, here's the whole roster. And it goes, you have to pick at least 3 that you're willing to play. And you can set their general priority. So you pick 3 characters and you go, this is the one I want the most, this is the one I want the second most, and this one is fine.
Okay. Are they for different lanes?
No, because when you go into a match, the game will assign you a lane.
Okay.
You will start in a lane. You can move to anywhere you want, but it will literally put you in a lane to start.
So there are lanes, and the main way you win is not just by like deathmatch scoring kills.
Oh no, deathmatch scoring is totally pointless.
Yeah, okay.
It's about pushing that lane.
Okay, okay.
So you get onto your lane, and the very first thing that happens is your base will spawn a bunch of little dudes called troopers, and then they will meet the other bunch of little dudes coming from your opponent's lane, and then it is up to you to last hit and deny the troopers as you are also going back and forth with the opponent in your lane.
Okay.
It's and then when you do that, you get money, and then you go to the shop to get a bunch of items to get stronger, and then go back down your lane. It is a MOBA. It is a MOBA. The difference is that instead of having little RTS fights over your lane, you are having third-person shooter fights.
Okay.
Over your lane.
Because I definitely, yeah, like there was seeing it in third person, I like with Rivals on the brain, I got a little baited. Looking, going like, ooh, we're like third person is becoming the thing. We're doing this. That's nice. And seeing your character flying around and zipping on lines and stuff, you know, looks pretty cool. But yeah, immediately apparent is just like I mentioned it before. Like on your screen, you've got like all the characters in the match up top, I guess, like the 6v6, right. And then what seemed to be I guess just your map, your abilities, and just a number of other things all popped up that I'm like, oh, this is quite a bit more than
there are many things.
Yeah, than if it were just go rack up points or push the payload, you know.
And then at some point when you start team fighting, it does for periods become a hero shooter. Okay. Because you have like, you know, a 4-on-6 or 5-on-5, you know, actual team fights. Okay. The most interesting thing about the game by far is the way they have decided to deal with last hitting. So are you familiar with the term last hit?
Not at all.
Okay. So you have seen League or Dota at some point where you have the lanes and the little tiny creep dudes, or you know, the little generic soldiers are butting heads against each other.
I have played 3 games of Heroes of the Storm.
Okay.
To get my Zarya master costume.
Great. So HOTS doesn't have last hitting. That was its big contribution. No, follow me here. All right. No, the only thing you need to know is that the two little the creeps, you know, in the lane, they push against each other, right? Okay. And then there's the players. And so you're trying to kill those little dudes for experience and to push your lane, right? In League and Dota, last hitting is a big deal. And the basic thing is that you only get the gold or experience or whatever the fuck you want to call it for being the person to actually kill the enemy creep.
Okay.
Right? So you basically, you're watching all your little dudes fight amongst each other, and then you go, oh, that one's about to dead. Okay, I got the gold, I got the experience. Oh, that one's about to die. Got it, right? This also moves to denying, in which you can see your own guys about to die and the opponent is about to get last hit on them, and so you kill your own dude first
to stop them from getting
from getting anything.
But you don't get XP for killing your own.
No, but you're denying them.
Yes, okay.
As Carhax points out, it's like fighting game. It's like footsies.
Yeah. Okay. You right. That makes sense.
So in Deadlock, the thing that they've done here is, it's a cute little thing to take advantage of the fact that it's a shooter. Is that you're at really long distances because you're shooting enemies.
Pause.
Instead of
the denial aspect is denying them XP, but are you also denying them points? Do points of the amount of things you kill matter? And
In
if you're killing if you're attacking their creep, for example, does that add up in any way?
In which game are you talking about?
In like League of Legends, for example.
In League of Legends, no. The only thing that matters is the last one, the last hit. Only the resources.
Okay.
So like HOTS has experience, League has gold. I'm not 100% sure on Dota.
Okay.
There's only one resource you're getting from the little creep guys.
And it's
so
experience.
Each game has a different name for it.
Okay.
Oh, Dota has both. Of course, Dota has both. But so in Deadlock, you're killing the creeps for cash, essentially. And because you're at super long ranges and because you're all shooting guns, what happens is that when you kill a creep, you get some resources, but then its little soul will float away. It's very, very slowly, has like a little bubble, and that will disappear on its own after 3-4 seconds, and then you'll get that. But both you and the enemy team can shoot that.
Okay.
So when you're having your gun battle and the creeps are fighting amongst each other and you see the soul rising off like one of your own guys, shoot the soul of your own guy so that it doesn't automatically go to the enemy team.
Okay, so it's just like any other like Sonic or Mario, the enemy, or not actually those games, but enemies will drop a bunch of shit and either person can get it no matter who gets the kill right there.
Yeah.
Game doesn't actually end until you kill an enemy base.
Yeah, that's right. You have to push the lane all the way up.
All that matters, all that actually matters is base destruction.
Yeah. So the number one reason why you would kill another player is because you are knocking them out of the game from getting any resources for an increasingly long length of time. The respawn timers start at like 10 seconds. And by the end of a match, respawn timers are up to like 1.5 minutes.
Okay.
So like a full team wipe at the very end of a match, it's not like, hey, we wiped the whole team, we're done. It's like, no, they can't stop us from blowing up their base.
Right, which is like, you know, again, in Overwatch or so, you do a team wipe and then you can push the payload uncontested for a really long time. Therefore, yeah, the time, it's all about time to payload stop or whatever.
And it creates these little situations that you see in your MOBAs in which you're like, I can't beat this guy in my lane. I lose every single time. I have to leave and give the lane up to them and go find somewhere else to get resources, because fighting them is just going to end up in a situation where I'm staring at the respawn timer over and over and over.
Okay. Yeah, I think I had a touch of this in Mecha Break, where it was like the push your payload, but the enemy has their own payload, and you can go make theirs stop or go backwards. And so it's like, is it worth it to defend your own, or stand on your own and accelerate it, or attack theirs, or stand on theirs and decelerate it, you know? And
yeah, it's you get into fun situations every now and then where it's 6v6 and you have 3 guys defending your base while you 3 are attacking their base. And it just becomes like, well, whoever wipes this fight first is going to lose, because there'll be no one to stop them.
Right. Okay.
I feel bad for people hopping on Deadlock and going, oh man, Valve's making an Overwatch. Fucking no, absolutely not. They are not. That is not what that game is. That is essentially Dota 3.
And that makes a bit more sense because Valve also made Team Fortress.
Yeah.
Right. So it would make
and Ice Frog, who made Dota and then went to Valve to work on Dota 2, is the main person behind Deadlock.
Yeah, so just why would they eat their own lunch directly like this? Even though it's been a really long time, I mean, it's still, yeah, that makes sense. So
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but you can sell a lot of hats in a MOBA.
So, how does, I guess then, Like, do the character abilities? If we're talking about like Overwatch and Rivals, everyone's abilities are very PvP oriented because that's the main thing here. But because you have this goal of like fighting opponents, fighting creep, and then destroying the base, it's not always going to be.
They're slightly more generalized.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Also, the way the abilities work is different in that because it's a MOBA. Instead of having like your primary power like in Overwatch, it's like no, you have your 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
You have your 1, 2, 3, and then your ult.
Okay.
And some are laning tools, some are pure PvP tools, you know, etc.
Yeah, I think because I'm an old one-trick pony that's predictable and I'm set in my ways. I feel as if I always want a duel, and then at game modes that like add things to that, like there's always a layer of like obfuscation to around the idea of the duel. For example, pushing a payload or defending a hard point is cool. But I definitely have the most fun when like that is still part of what we're doing and like the main experience. So have you had matches of this where you're kind of ignoring the opponents and mainly focusing on the lane and the base kind of thing?
Yeah, that's every single.
That's how it really works. Okay.
So chat and people at home can correct me if I'm wrong, but my internalization of the MOBA structure is that an enemy is a guy who is stopping me from playing the game.
Okay.
Like the enemy in my lane, their main contribution is stopping me from playing my game.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stop them from playing their game.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I want to fight.
Fighting the enemy is a natural consequence of me actually trying to play the game.
But if you're trying to win, you're stupid if you go out of your way for kills, or if you...
Well, it depends. Like, there's 4 lanes and there's 6 people.
Like, if you're a character made for picks, then sure, right? I'm sure there's people designed around that idea.
If you want to go jungling and you want to go lane hopping and you just want to help everybody win their lane by turning every encounter from 1-on-1 to 2-on-1 and then, you know, ping-pong around.
Is that actually what jungling means?
That's what jungling is.
It means you don't push a lane, you move around, and you pick off people?
There's 2 parts. So, oh, this is fun. So usually when you hear top, mid, and bottom, your people are just literally talking about the lane. Like, are you going to be on the top? Are you going to be on the middle? Right? Jungling is 2 things. Jungling is roaming around the map and killing non-lane NPCs so that you can get buffs for your team, experience for yourself, items, whatever. So in Deadlock, there's a cursed urn that shows up from time to time that you have to transport from one end of the map to the other directly across all 4 lanes, and that will give you buffs. So jungling characters are wandering around the whole time.
Oh, so there's NPCs that belong to no one that are also just hanging out. Okay.
And since you are wandering around all the time as you are jungling, the likelihood of you being around when, this guy's doing a 1-on-1, why don't I make this a 2-on-1? Is super high.
Okay. So
you could call jungler a flex spot.
Right. But it's not necessarily PvEing. It's just you're versatile and you can do what's needed as you move around.
Usually junglers in League or Dota have to do PvE because otherwise they will fall way behind on the money. Killing enemies gets you like shit for resources.
Okay.
Like killing enemies gets you way less resources than just doing your lane shit.
So I had a really good experience with Reinhardt because as someone, I love obviously PvP and dueling, and that's where I get my fun from, the objective stuff and kind of like, I guess to some degree support, you know, I kind of wasn't as into. But then I was like, oh wait, shielding the front line is a really fun way to support the team because like it's a clear, like I enjoyed that process because it was mixed in with moments of dueling. You know, and like having those like eventual like, okay, Reinhardt charge, how do you not charge like an idiot, right? There's times
Yeah.
and places, and like learning how to use that and then isolate them and then fight and duel and then get back to the payload was a pretty fun thing. So like I feel like I can enjoy a support role or a game that has, again, other things for me to do, but I really would like the ability to like have that pick be part of it. So how did your overall experience go with the roster?
So I'm really surprised at just how much of a MOBA it is, because like it still is dictated by the phases. Like so the games are 20 to 40 minutes long. And the first 10 minutes are like explicitly the laning phase. Like it is footsies for 10 minutes. Like stay in your fucking lane and get your fucking points.
Level up your character.
And take out the guy that the game put in your lane, but just push it.
Is it like,
and then 10 minutes onwards becomes, all right, let's roam around. Let's figure out what we're doing here.
Is it like in HOTS where you don't get to use all your abilities until you level up a certain amount?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like you start and they're like, pick one ability of 4 and pick the shittiest version of that ability. And then as you continue to get your resources, you'll be leveling up to get all 4 abilities, then all 4 abilities upgraded, in addition to the shit you're buying at the shop. Now, one of the things that really stood out to me, I prefer playing League. I think Dota's too complicated. Dota is really complicated. Like, MOBAs are definitely not simple, but like Dota is fucking lot going on. Like you can't even just buy stuff. You have to send a fucking magic unicorn flying back to fucking base to buy your upgrades for you, and then people can kill that thing on the way back.
Oh boy. Okay.
But sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But the thing that I was always jealous of was that Dota has a way better client. Spectating is better. Picking, like reading your in-game resources is a lot better. But more than that is so like, I don't know if you've ever seen like the shop in these games. The shops are filled with like 100 items.
Just the HOTS one.
Okay. Yeah, the HOTS one is not the freak that the other ones are.
I remember it being like 3 or 4 grayed out things, you know.
Yeah, no. The like your Dota. Let me see if I can get you a screenshot. Dota 2 shop. I literally need like a single screenshot.
I am.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. This is the screenshot.
I am keeping an open mind, I tell you.
This is the fucking screenshot of the shop in Dota 2. And every single one of those is either hold on. Is either a percentile increase in some statistic or an active item that changes your kit, or a percentile increase item or active item that is used as an ingredient to build a better item later.
Bitch, if I wanted to play The Binding of Isaac, I would boot up The Binding of Isaac.
So,
what are we doing?
So, what you have discovered is a big problem with MOBAs, because I would like to play the character, and people go, well, what items are you going to use? And like, dude, I don't even have time in the match to read like 2 items, let alone the 200 on the fucking screen.
Yeah.
So they say, well, you should read those and learn those before your match. I'm like, I am not going to sit down and read the descriptions of hundreds of different items before I start playing. That's ridiculous.
Yes.
So in comes the middle of the road, which is, for League of Legends, it was a program called Blitz. And it was an overlay program, and what it would do is you would go, I am going to play Jungler Vi, and it would go, okay, here are 3 or 4 builds that you can play for Jungler Vi. Do you want to play this one or this one or this one? And you would click it, and then it would go, okay, and then it would overlay choose this item, 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 and it would give you a basic path.
Okay.
And often it would give you explanations for why you were choosing those items in that respect, right? Now, this was really annoying as fuck because it was a third-party overlay program that sucked and was annoying to use.
And you said Vi, so you're talking about League, which is the simpler of these two.
So I'm talking about League.
Yeah.
So then Dota eventually included something called builds. And what that is that if you want to make a build for your character, you can go into a build maker, you can write out all the descriptions on every item, and you can organize where it shows up in the thing. And any new player can go to the build tab on the left of the item screen for any given character and go, I would like to play the most popular build for this character, which is a melee build. And you click it and it changes your item shop to be like, okay, here's why you want to buy this. Here's why you want to buy this. Here's why you want to buy this. Pick them in this order. And over on here, there's a little box that says, if you're up against this guy, or this guy, pick this to counter pick him. And it became user controllable, and it was like it's just a system of little guides that everybody's making for each other.
Okay, but overall, this micromanaging element is a massive part of the diversity of builds and how you play matchups.
So you're essentially net decking the items.
Yeah,
instead of making...
it's a deck of cards. It is. It's a deck of cards. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, Deadlock also has this already, even in its closed alpha.
Okay.
So me, who is playing a character, go, fucking items to pick! And somebody goes, go to the build guide and pick the highest rated build. And I go, okay. And guess what? I did that, and I won a couple of my games. Okay. And the more important thing is that when I would die and I'm staring at my respawn timer, I can open up the shop and go, okay, so what does the item that I bought do?
Right. Okay.
Oh, it reloads my gun when I do a sprint dash, like a jumping dash. So okay, so now I'll keep that in mind. That this item allows me to do that. Oh, what's this item do? Oh, my gun shoots faster if I'm really close to the enemy. Okay, so I'll keep that, and so I can now actually learn the fucking things without being a complete piece of shit dead weight.
Yeah, and I can see how folks are likening this to frame data as like it's a lot of extra descriptions you can go and learn outside of the game or
no, frame data is you can feel frame data with your fucking gut.
You can just feel frame data to know like, oh, I blocked Shoryuken. Okay, I should be able to hit him on the way down. Or when he lands, whatever. You can. But overall, but the point of the comparison they're making is, hey, look, Woolie, it's a bunch of shit that a lot of people don't care about learning that's too much detail. And if you feel like it, you can ignore this, I guess, or choose to go into it to improve or whatever.
So,
yeah, it's super...
a really good comment down here. Really good. Who says, to be fair, all the top-rated builds suck. They don't include the actives, such as Unstoppable or a debuff remover, which are often situational, but are game winners. And they're completely right. However, having a bad build that has been built for you is way better than having a completely random pile of shit that you have made out of nothing.
Yeah. There was an era when nobody knew or cared about frame data a long time ago, so honestly, I mean this when I say it, it doesn't matter. You can just play and have fun and just feel your way through things. It's all extra. You
need to buy items in a MOBA because that's like most of your character's power is actually coming from their items.
Right. I talk about it with Reggie because it's like, hey, when we're playing against people that we can't beat, learning that makes the difference so that now we can beat them. So when you're at a point where you're like, oh, knowing that number is the difference between winning and losing in this type of match in this level like situation, I get it. But otherwise, fuck that shit. Don't bother. Who cares, right? Now with this though, for me to want to get in there and like get into the nitty gritty, I have to love what's happening outside of this a lot. You've got to have me hooked in for me to be like, all right, what the fuck is this shop with 80 things on it? So
for me, I really like the laning phase.
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna say. Like,
I love, like, okay,
who's your main? Lane. What's their goal? What's their main angle? And like, what were you doing as them in an example match, for example? If you can give me that.
So okay, so right now, I would probably say Who would my main be? I forget his name, to be honest.
What did he look like?
He looks like fucking a Hellboy. He's got a book and he's got a handheld shotgun and he's just blue Hellboy.
Oh, the big thick guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
sure,
Abrams.
I saw it.
So his basic deal is that he's the tankiest guy on the roster. And he is really, if you build him up for long enough and he gets strong enough, he is genuinely like the hardest character to kill. Okay. Like just refuses to die. And he also has an AoE, like he has a field that he can put out that just saps health from everyone. He has a charge that if you knock people into the wall, it'll stun them. He has a passive that he will just regenerate health that he has just lost. Like something like 20% of his health that he loses, he just immediately regenerates. And his ult is a giant Hulk style ground smash that stuns people.
Thor.
Yeah, more or less. Let's just say more or less.
Okay.
And most of my game plan was their laning phase, getting to lane a little longer than other people because it's hard to kill me. So I have longer to run away to safety.
Yeah, Venom. Okay.
And then once team fights start to happen, he has the charge that knocks people around and knocks them into walls to stun them. But because he's so resilient, he dives in and doesn't just instantly melt from 5 people shooting him. So I had a really good run in which I was able to like dive into a pack of enemies and slam once against the wall and kill them, run away, and now they're on a minute-long respawn timer while it's a big team fight, and then go, okay, all I need to do is dive and kill one more person, and this has now slid way in our favor.
Okay, when you're saying enemies, you mean players?
I mean the team.
Players, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because the troopers are like brain dead on purpose. Like the enemy AI for like generic enemy, if generic creeps.
Yeah, I mean
their targets. They exist to die.
Titanfall NPCs, right?
Yeah,
they're trying to corner us. Yeah, okay.
And I really like that. I played. Oh, what's his name? God, I can't remember their fucking names. Hold on, Deadlock.
Describe him.
He's a robot with a hook.
Haze.
Because your characters, your MOBA game. Oh, Bebop. Right. Your MOBA game needs to have a hook character, like literally a Roadhog must exist.
Get over here.
Yeah. So Stitch is the abomination in Warcraft 3 was like the first one, and that just continues onwards. And so Bebop's kit is he has a laser which is completely accurate and ranges super far. But his main gimmick is that he can hook you, and then he can plant a bomb on you, and then he can uppercut you away from him. So he drags you out of position, and then causes a bunch of damage, and then kicks you back somewhere away from him so he's safe. Yeah, he's great.
Okay.
I love him. There's a lot of characters on that roster that I haven't played. There's one lady in particular called Lady Geist, who I don't understand her kit at all, but I do understand her ult, which is she trades health statuses with somebody else on the enemy team.
And you get to peek everybody's.
It's like you'll nearly kill her, and then she'll hit you with her ult, and now you are at 1 HP, and she's completely full. And I don't know how to deal with it at all.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. Infernus looks cool.
A lot of them look cool. Like there's some winners and some losers. Jacob Lash, his the old-timey British boxer, just having a biography. Everybody else has like a paragraph, and his is just Jacob Lash is an asshole.
Okay.
And then you load into his character and he starts talking, and the first thing out of his fucking mouth is that dive kicks are the new hotness. I used to do uppercuts like a loser, like this other guy on the roster who does a dive kick. Like he names him, he says the character's name, like uppercuts. Oh, it's so So lame. It's all about dive kicks nowadays. That's where the real money's at. Like,
Okay.
Character fucking rules.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a MOBA. It's a MOBA. It's also super early. Like, it says that there's no controller support, but then you plug in a controller and controller button prompts show up. Like PlayStation button prompts show up. And you're like, wow, I can play this with a controller. And then you realize there's absolutely no aim assist at all. And that some buttons aren't mapped.
Oh, so
like there are buttons that are just straight up not mapped to the controller yet.
Pseudo support. There's like the Steam message that's like a half faded controller.
Yeah. So like it'll get there, right? But because I think they want this to be playable on the Steam Deck.
Okay. Well, that's another mark against it for me in terms of like I also love playing things on a controller whenever.
Yeah,
I can.
it'll be there, but like it might be a bit.
Okay.
What was the other thing? It doesn't run particularly well, and a lot of the graphical options aren't there. Probably the strangest detail about the whole game compared to every other game that you would play with a shooter is that reload times in Deadlock are outrageous.
Oh, really?
Reloading your gun. So like holding down like your machine gun and emptying it will take like 5 seconds. Reloading it will take 4 seconds.
Oh,
like it almost takes as long to reload your gun as to use up all your ammo.
I just realized I actually don't know this, but you have your abilities, which have the little cooldown when you use them, of course.
That's right.
In all MOBAs, but you're talking about reloading here, so most characters have guns that you're shooting. But in League or Dota, you're clicking and you're just doing a melee,
and you're doing RTS attacks.
Yeah, so there's no gunplay.
There's no reload.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So ammo is so in a lot of in Dota or League, you have your auto attacks, but oftentimes you're using your 1 or your 2 to like as your primary attack all the time, but that uses mana, and you can eventually run out of mana, and then you have to go back to base and regenerate. And this is simulating that. It's also simulating attack speed delay, in that, like, say you have an archer in League, like you can only fire that auto attack so many times so fast.
Okay, so if this is a 6v6, then is it like 2 people per lane, and then like 1 person support, 1 person DPS, or something, or like little duos of that?
It's there's 4 lanes, and 2 lanes get 1 person, and 2 lanes each get 2 people.
Oh, okay.
So you're either in a single lane or a double lane. But everybody can move wherever the fuck they want at any time.
Oh, so roles.
There are no
roles are not.
roles.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
The fact that there are no dedicated roles, and like there's still matchups, right? Like some characters have really good matchups and really bad matchups. But the fact that there's no dedicated roles feels very freeing, because it's miserable in League when you don't get to actually play the role that you want. It's awful. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of, again, if like even in Rivals, where it's like, hey, is anyone gonna support? We need a healer. No one. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, fine. And then I'll learn how to play Rocket Raccoon, for if need be. And then just same thing, making sure it's like, hey, can we do a tank? No one's gonna. All right, fine. Right, learn how to do at least one. And you can still do the whole like priority thing and all that. I there's systems and ways that the games can let you like say like, hey, I'd like to play as this, and if not, then this is going to be rough for all of us. But okay, this seems like one of those cases where, yeah, this game is not at all what I thought it was, and
not at all what a lot of people thought it was.
Yeah, and it's not really like it's not super duper my alley, but I am curious to see, like, just does it feel fun to play and to do stuff in it, because I'm always open for a new experience there. But like off the jump, I mean, I'm still thinking about Rivals, like and
Rivals is a lot like more straightforward.
Yeah, but I mean, even like but again, like the hero shooter bit, like jumping into Gundam Evolution was like instantly. I clicked and had a lot of fun with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Gundam branding aside, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
in a more pure MOBA sense, I guess it would come down to things like movement and, you know, like, yeah, the abilities and just how it feels as a character to like navigate around the map and do stuff, and whether that felt rewarding moment to moment, and if so, like, then when the occasional PvP happens, those moments better be fucking highlights in my brain of the match, you know, when you go back to lane pushing and stuff. Yeah, because I can't imagine the coolest moments of the match being like, man, I took out all those grunts standing there, you know?
Okay, so
Or like, I blew up that
right.
base. Like,
so
those are not the sickest plays.
In your MOBA, all the sickest plays are in the third phase of the game, which is the team fighting phase. So your play of the game would be you play as Dynamo, and you jumped into the middle of the enemy pack of 6, and just like Dynamo has an ult that freezes everybody in place and then sucks them towards him for 3 or 4 seconds. So get in there, and then everyone just dumps on that spot.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Taking up.
That's the play of the game.
Taking out the other players. Absolutely, that has to be it. It can't be the other mechanics for sure.
Like the last third of every MOBA game is team fighting, and if it's not, it's because it's a horrible one-sided massacre.
And everyone's just okay. When it goes horribly wrong, how long are you committed in Deadlock?
So
the name of the game is Deadlock, by the way.
So if the other team is like,
literally no movement.
Hell yeah, we're doing it. They're stomping you. They can get through you in like 12 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
if they're stomping you super hard, but they don't feel like ending the game, they can run the clock out as long as they want.
So that we're not escaping the 45-minute loss.
No.
Because that stuck with me when you were talking about how rough that gets. Like,
so I played about 20 matches. Games are 20 to 40 minutes. And the worst matches ever are, holy shit, just kill us already, Jesus Christ. We have lost every team fight for 5 in a row. Just fucking push and kill us now.
I mean, can you just let them walk by you and just blow your base up and call it a day?
You could, but they'd have to push.
Yeah. Okay.
The game's set up to stop that is that eventually you will stop gaining power on your character. Everyone will have bought every item they could buy.
When you say push, like, do you have to fight the lane creep on the way, or can you just walk past it?
No, it'll kill you.
Oh, okay.
So, like, yes, no, it has to be actively pushed.
Gotcha. Okay.
As for like the game's quality, it seems really well put together, particularly how early it is. It feels really good. The shooting is solid. I really like the style of the cursed apple, which is what they're calling the setting. Like ghost noir, I guess.
Like the Big Apple, but yes.
But cursed with ghosts.
Okay.
It is also true to its genre in a lot of ways. So I'm playing the character Dynamo that I mentioned earlier, and I'm like, listen, okay, the whole team is here and their whole team is there. We're all gonna dive and we're gonna figure it out. All right, I dove. I got every member of the team with the ult. They are all locked in place. They can't move. They can't shoot. I'm now going to turn the camera to see my team running away back down the lane. They are gone. They are literally out of sight. I am now dead. I have a 1:20 respawn timer. I am now sitting here wondering what the fuck they were doing. I am so mad. I am madder than I have been in months. Months. I am anxious because I'm having trouble in my lane. I'm so anxious. Oh no, I died. Oh, I must have lost the game for us. Oh crap.
This is where
I get to the end. I get to the end of that match, and you know what I find out? I had the best stats of any person on the team, and that actually the guy in one lane over for me went 5 and 19 in his lane. And was feeding that guy super hard.
Sick.
And I discovered that no, I was not shit. In fact, it was my whole team that was shit. And now I'm so fucking mad. And my chest hurts.
This is where voice comms would matter, and
turn that off. You
turn that off. Of course, you're not playing.
You turn it off.
No, you're not playing with friends, so never. But it would make a difference if you were doing that. And if not, you cannot put it in a place in your brain that matters. It just can't. Yeah, I think you can't let your chest care.
There's something about you wouldn't normally talk about this because it's a closed alpha, but also like you saw the report that like hundreds of people got banned from Marvel Rivals
for cheating.
It's like, bro, that was a closed alpha. What the fuck are you like?
Oh, people are scrubs. It's crazy.
So
it's incredible. Yeah.
So the day that Deadlock went public, lots of people joined up, and quitting was insanely bad. Like you load into a match and hey, somebody didn't get the character they want, quit. Game's now unwinnable or unlosable. We started to push and they lost a little bit. Quit, just like rage quitting, like insane, like crazy. And then that kind of stopped because if you do that like 3 or 4 times in a night and it's a closed alpha, they just ban you. You're done. You're gone. Your access has been revoked. Get out.
Sick, sweet, fuck yeah, great.
You can argue about it in the game's official Discord, but then Yoshi, who runs that Discord, will mock you and tell everyone how many voice reports were made on your account and how you're trash.
I mean, I do appreciate, because like in Rivals, when I was kicked out of a match, there's the whole like join thing where it's like, okay, it gives you a couple minutes to rejoin the match and continue. Otherwise, there's a penalty that's like, oh, you can't play for like 30 seconds or something, you know. And the idea of that timer going up and up and stuff is like that makes sense, because if someone just has a really shitty connection and they're getting disconnected, you know, it's still a problem, but obviously it's like, hey, solve this or this is going to keep happening. But if you're literally just like, walking out of a game like that where it matters and you can't really replace people midway through and be fair,
no replacement.
Yeah, okay. So
somebody disconnected, you lost or won. Whichever.
So this game has playtesting started last year, but like I wonder how long have they been working on it? I'm curious.
Probably a little bit before that. There was a Yoshi posted a
Neon Prime,
a work in progress version of the game, and it is like the most basic shit I've ever seen. I can't believe they actually put it out there. It is like Half-Life 2 with like Roblox trees and like unskinned bug textures in first person.
This is proof of concept only. Yeah. Okay.
Also, it used to be futuristic neon technology, techno shooter. And at some point they just said, nah, we're going with supernatural noir.
Okay. All right, well, we got to get a move on, but that is, I have an eyebrow raised just to see what's going on here.